Hi, Mr. Pulley here with another Schoology quick tip. In this one, I'm going to be showing you how I make unit home pages for all my units by using Pages in Schoology with a lot of interactive content. So here we go. Let's get started. Okay, you may recall that when I was showing you the overview of my course, I had course pages for all my units, and that's always the first item in any unit folder. And this is the one for the first unit. And throughout the years, and in fact, throughout the school year, I've changed the way I've done this a little bit. And I'm actually going to go to the last one I used this school year, which is for Unit 13 and 14, which is the last unit on the Cold War and then the semester exam study information. And when I edit this and have it set up, what I've done is I will, as I go through the year and make changes, as I make a new page, I copy the stuff from the previous unit, create the new page, and paste it in there, and then I can work from that information. For example, the unit icon, the icon for the textbook is always going to be the same. The study guide icon is always the same. The unit assignments. I just have to change the hyperlinks on those. The video is the same way. For the last couple of units, I put in the semester exam study guide. I change for each time the picture that gets to the resources. And in this case, in the last few units, I've been additional book we read called Ishmael. So I've got a link for it as well. So if I go in and edit my page, one of the problems I have is that this box pops up and it's awfully small to edit in. But what I've done here is I've got these items in here. And to put in an item, you would simply get wherever your cursor is at, okay, and then insert image, or a link, usually bring in an image. Then for doing that, I can attach a file. If I get this from the web, usually I just download something because I want to get them set first. And then you attach that file and put it in there, and then that becomes the image that's in the textbook file I have for all the things. But you notice this thing that pops up at the bottom is something which, if I select an image and I go again to my insert content, this is called a tooltip. So if I click on there, then it pops up this box. Let me just delete this one for a second. So it's gone. I just made it go away. So when you pop it up, you just then type in what you want to say. And I usually say click for, and then Unit 13 resources. This one says click for textbook. This says, oh, I'm missing the one there. So let's insert that one, the tooltip on here that says click for Ishmael questions and the book. And then I click on the little check mark, and it's going to be there. Okay, just so I would say that. So what I've also then gone down is, you see this part continues the same for every single one. Embedded contents, that's iframes when you're editing, you can't see what they are per se. If you click on this little box pops up, and I can say this is in case this is that Google Doc, and in the preview I can now see what that Google Doc is. When you import them in, I'll show you that in a second, you change the dimensions. I usually run them to 1100 wide in the constrained proportions and sets this box, but that allows it to be a nice size, I think, for my students to be able to see a good amount of that frame as they are. And this is just the URL from that Google document. There's also some advanced things you can do if you want to as well. I don't play with those. The source code is actually, this is the embed code as it is right there. And again, you can change that here. I find it easier if you're someone who's not as good at using HTML. It's easier to do it here. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that out. Going down below there, then I've got an image here. This is linked to MLA resources. And I got a sense here that this one has disappeared. No, it's still there. And I just don't have the tooltip on there. Maybe I'll put a tooltip on that one real quickly here. And the tooltip is going to say, I want to undo that. Tooltip on that icon was off the image itself there, so that messed that up. So click for, MLA 8th edition resources. The
The Naturally Reader is just a link also to that. I throw in some Fraz cartoons because I'm a cyclist and they do with education, so that's kind of funny. Now what you see at the bottom here, this is the course banner, which I'll be talking about later, but I created it on the page because it's just easier to do that course banner. You actually have to have the images inside of Schoology first to copy and paste it into the update that then becomes the announcement. And what I've done down here is this is actually, you'll notice this is a table. And what I can do with the table is, in this case, let me show you my border I've turned off. If I turn it back on now, you can kind of see that border a little bit better. But if I select the table itself, I've turned the border off. So when you see it in the actual picture, you don't see all those things. And again, these are just, I took and inserted the table down at the bottom. I copied these from up here and put them in the boxes and shrunk them down. So there's sort of a relatively similar size across here. And then I put an extra box in to say the current unit and then the number of the unit that we're on. And then I've also gone in and hyperlinked them. Now, when I copy them up here, I can tell you sometimes it takes that hyperlink that I put on there with it, and sometimes it doesn't. And again, hyperlinking is simple as clicking on the particular image itself, clicking the hyperlink and making sure that it goes to the course materials that you want it to go to. So let me save those changes because I did make some changes. And what you're going to see here as soon as this finishes loading, my internet at home is a little slow, is that I've got all these things that bounce to these various things. We have the tooltips on there that look a little bit different in this view. But on this Google Doc, and I'll do a video on the Google Doc itself, I've actually got hyperlinks inside here to assignments and things as well. And the only thing I'm going to tell you about it right now is that when you do this, don't go to each individual assignment. It's better to just go to that assignment folder. Same thing for the lectures. What I do is I take it back to that assignment folder because I force them into that. Study guide goes back to the assignment folder. Reading question things goes back to the assignment folder. So it's not as bad as it may look in terms of setting in hyperlinks, but there's still a lot of hyperlinks in there. But go to the folders instead to the individual assignments. It just makes your life a little easier. Now, this part down here is what we will deal with a little bit later in the next video. And that one is what we're going to use to show the course banner that has the hyperlinks in it. But this is how I use Pages, and it's got pages like this for all my units. You can see the similarities throughout. This one I was trying two different ways of embedding the Google Doc, and I've decided here at the end of the year to stay with this one version. It's a little more consistent. And this is another way of inserting it using the editing via hypertext, and you switch to HTML there. It can be a little intimidating if you don't know how to use that, or even if you just publish the document and use the embed code once you've published your Google document. Again, that's a little bit more complicated. Easier to just pull it in through your Google Drive. The one down at the bottom was literally brought in by saying, Google Resource App, and then finding that document and pulling it in and making those changes to, for me, 1100 wide. I'm going to cancel out of here and show you the differences. This one, while it is hyperlinked, it has an advantage that it doesn't want to jump around. The one at the bottom wants you to click on it first, tends to jump to the top, and once you've clicked on it, then you can kind of get into things. But the advantage of this one is that as soon as you update the document to make a change, it automatically updates in here. This one takes, I've seen as much as a day or two. And if I'm making a change because of weather issue, that got to be a bit of a problem. So I use the one where I pull it in through the Google Drive. So pages that I use, every unit, again, consistency in terms of how they look generally, so students know where they are, and hope that's helpful to you. Thanks for watching.
Okay, hope you found that useful and interesting, and now you can use Schoology Pages to help guide your students and give them more ways to access material in Schoology or in each unit in Schoology. Thanks for watching.